Hello, everybody. We are live.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be.
It's just before 8 a.m. here. We've actually gone live 5 minutes early because we were ready. Why not?
Yeah. We were just discussing what we're about to discuss anyway, so.
Yeah, we may as well do it with you guys.
Yep.
So, episode 4 has happened.
It did happen. It was a thing.
It was
and
a
we
thing.
watched it. And I'm still feeling mixed emotions right now.
Yeah, me too.
Some of the good was great.
Mm.
Some of the bad was awful.
Yeah. We are going to go through everything and kind of discuss with you guys today. And I mean, I've got 3.5 pages of notes here. We watched it in a dark room, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to read my notes, but we'll see.
My handwriting is suddenly like regressed.
Regressed.
Yeah, regressed like many years. So we'll see how this goes. So we'll give it 5-10 minutes just for people to join as we did start early though, before we get too deep into it all.
Yeah.
But we'll just see how things go.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming everyone who always tuning in has already watched the episode. I hope.
Yes.
Otherwise, spoilers, obviously. Very much a spoiler-filled video.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, you probably shouldn't carry on. Let's dig into some comments. Jeffrey says, "Oh snap! What up? What up, Jeffrey?"
Yeah. Oh, I'll also put it out there, and I will remind people later on when more join. Just over on our Twitter page, which is the broken_sword, I put up a poll on people's thoughts and ranking of this episode. So ranking it 1 to 4 with the other 3 we've already had. So later on, we'll come back and have a look and see how that is doing.
Yes. Jeffrey says, "I loved episode 4 so much. Don't care what anyone says."
So we've already had someone say how horribly bad the episode was, and how they loved it so much. I feel like this is an episode that's going to split people quite a bit.
I agree. I think I know why. We will get to
that though. So Spartan Gaming, please, I need your thoughts on episode 4. I don't know how to feel about some of the moments. I don't think I've decided how to feel about some of the moments.
I've decided about some things.
Yeah, for many of these things, I'm like, I need a second rewatch. I need a second watch to fully. I mean, this conversation will help, I think. But I'm gonna need another conversation to see another watch to see exactly how I feel about a few things.
So Cornell Crit says, "Almost 3 a.m. here, sitting you guys down and listening to as I drift off. Keep on with the great coverage. I think this was an awesome episode. Thank you very much. I hope our voices can send you off peacefully."
Yes, we hope our voices put you to sleep.
Owen Jones, hey guys. Hello, how's it going?
Hello there.
Dustin says, "I think Adar has pity for the orcs for what they were, and Sauron uses that against him." Yeah, I got that too. Again, yes, we'll get to that. Should we just start getting into it? Should we just go for it?
Why not? I guess people can catch up later.
Yes. So, I don't even know where to start. Where's my notes start here?
Okay, should we go through scene by scene, or shall we go through location by location, storyline?
I feel like we should go through scene by scene because my notes are in that order.
Yeah, same. Cool. Good answer. So we start off with the baby scene, as I labeled it so elegantly. To start off with, I was very much a bit like, not really sure where we were starting with that. I kind of got the idea they were like welcoming in the new people, but then you find out it's a dream sequence.
Yeah.
Which, dream sequences are a thing, I guess.
I'll say this to start. When the episode opened, my first reaction was, Numenor, not Harfoots. Is that bad?
I don't know. I'm still so torn on this Numenor storyline.
Yeah.
I love Numenor. I love Elendil. I just don't like Galadriel yet, and I hate that.
That's one of the things, and again, we'll cover why. I'm just not liking Galadriel at all, and there's some specific reasons why in this episode that almost hurt me. It sounds dramatic, but there's some real hard to accept things going on with the writing here. I know a lot of people are saying that, we're developing her character. We're seeing her become that elegant, mystical, powerful being that we all know. But I don't know. Okay, so we of course see some glimpses here of the drowning of Numenor.
Yes, which I think looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like that was something I didn't expect to see anything of really yet.
No, not in season 1. For
No,
sure.
I didn't expect I didn't expect like premonitions of it to be happening, and it looked awesome. In a way, I hope that doesn't take away from when spoilers it happens later on.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, it was an interesting way to start. I feel like we didn't necessarily need the baby part first. We could have basically just started it with her witnessing that and waking up. Like, if you know what I mean? It was one of those. I was a bit like,
why is she dreaming about welcoming babies and stuff?
yeah,
It was
like I kind of understand the whole point that they probably were going for, of like the future generations. Numenor will live long in the next generation. Oh no, they won't, because we're underwater. But
yeah,
it was one of those. Yeah, I don't know. Weird way to start.
Yeah, we basically went straight. I'm peeking quite a bit.
Oh, Jake is peeking.
Sorry, I'm quite loud. We went straight from this dream sequence pretty much into like a crowd gathering, and we see the dude that Halbrand beat up in episode 3 is kind of trying to turn the general public of Numenor against the elves, essentially.
Yes.
This felt very King's Many, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it felt very it felt more standard men than like a Numenorian way of doing stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I feel like this is the beginning of the separation between the faithful and the King's men. He said something along the lines of the Queen is an elf lover, which I'm assuming this sort of generation in Numenor, this is very much an insult.
Yes, true.
So to me, it felt like he was trying to persuade people, and we saw Farazon was very quickly there on the scene. So I can see him taking this crowd away from the Queen, and the Queen being committed to.
Yes, they're setting that up quite nicely already, I think. And I love, although this is very much not the Farazon that Tolkien wrote, I'm liking the look of the way he's being portrayed at the moment.
I quite like the actor.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the look. I think that works quite well.
He sounds a little bit Welsh.
Yeah. We were told that he is Welsh, at least in some parts, but I haven't actually looked that up to confirm exactly if he is Welsh or just has some ancestors from Wales. But there's no harm in being at all Welsh.
We then introduce what I believe was Farazon's son.
Yes, just before, as he brings the message.
Did he say his name was Kevin?
I had to check this. Kemen.
Kemen.
So Kemen.
Right.
I believe. Or pretty much close to that.
I thought I heard Kevin.
Yeah, it sounded like Kevin to start with, and it was one of those like, this doesn't sound Numenorian at all. But no, it is Kemen.
Okay, cool with that then. Farazon then interrupts this kind of crowd and starts saying about how we don't sound like Numenorians, you sound like a bunch of whining kids. I may be misquoting there, but something along those lines. He very quickly then basically says, drinks all round, and people just appear with drinks for everyone, which felt really convenient.
I mean, I imagine though, if you live on Numenor, there's limited things you can do in your day. Like drinking's probably a pretty big part of it for many of them. So
it's like Wales.
Yeah, it's just people there with drinks all the time, ready. Always got to be ready for a drink.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like one of those convenient, just lazy.
It was one that I didn't really pay any attention to that, to be honest. It didn't really go here or there for me, but yeah, it was a TV moment.
Yeah, very true. We then go to Galadriel pleading her case to Muriel, the queen, about how she must join the elves and go and save the Southlands. Now, this straight away was kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as we know with Galadriel, she was on her way to Valinor. She jumped ship. Gil-galad had declared peace. The war was over. And now she's like, join us to fight against Sauron. But how does she know the elves are even willing to fight against Sauron? They don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
The last that she knew, Gil-galad was like, no, shoo.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm guessing it's kind of the feeling of, if they're willing to, back me up in this, it's proof that there's something that's worth fighting. Yeah. And that'll be the argument to be like, well, if I brought all these people, of course you're going to also side with me. Maybe.
Spartan Gaming says Galadriel was kind of annoying in this episode. To be honest, Galadriel's been kind of annoying in every episode. And it's not Morfydd Clark's performance, at least not to me. It's just the writing for the character. It's not good.
It's the lines she's being fed that aren't great.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like.
Not even just the lines, but in general, her storyline.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some moments in this episode where she just comes across as stupid.
Yeah.
We'll get to that though. We'll get to it. So basically, in this scene, then she argues with Muriel and brings up her father, the previous king,
Yeah.
and straight away gets sent to jail, as you do. Don't mention the king's name, you get locked up. Kind of whatever, That's kind of how I felt about that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we'll kind of get onto the jail stuff when it comes up later.
Yeah. You can tell by the tone of our voices how we feel about what's happening there.
Yes.
So we then cut to Isildur and Valandil and his buddy on the ship. Isildur begins hearing voices off in the distance, which is something that happened in episode 3. Episode 3. He kind of hears voices whispering to him from the mountains, it seems, or from the sea in general.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that. Is the sea calling to him? Is Middle Earth calling to him? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, and I don't feel like he quite understands it
No.
either. I think it's just one of those that's supposed to be a mysterious point at this moment.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of have to go from there.
Yeah. So he lets something go and gets everyone in trouble. And he admits fault. He's like, oh, yeah, sorry, I let it go.
Yeah.
And the captain's like, that was on purpose. You're fired.
Yeah. It was the moment of being like, well, he wanted to get kicked off. He was like, how can I get kicked out? It was like, oh, let's do a kind of innocent accident that shows that I'm not ready to be accepted. So
no, he was not doing it on purpose.
I
was distracted by the voices. That was the
point. Yeah.
He says.
I felt like the voices made him do it, like on purpose. If you go,
I didn't take anything like he took it for, like did it on purpose. I took it as he was distracted by the voices, and then it slipped. Because after he says, like, I've brought shame to my family, he definitely didn't do it on purpose.
I felt the shame came with his friends getting fired, like kicked out as well, as opposed to just him. I don't know. Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah.
Either way, I feel like that captain going, oh, all 3 of you are fired just because Isildur let the rope slip once was. I just feel like it's lazy writing. It's just like, we need these 3 to do something else. Let's just get them all fired for one guy's mistake.
Yeah.
But it's just, honestly, I hate saying this, but we've been pretty positive about the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And we've said a few times that, I hope this isn't due to lazy writing. I hope there's a payoff later on. But we're now halfway into season 1, and the further we are getting, the more convinced I am that it is actually just lazy writing in certain points, and there's not going to be good payoffs later on.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. They're leaving themselves. Well, they are just leaving themselves less and less time to actually give us any good payoffs for anything they've set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll bring up the comment saying the boat captain in those scenes is annoying too.
Yeah, he's kind of like cool. He's a bit of a
To be honest, I just took him as a soldier, like soldier mentality. Sorry, I should say. Like it's just one of those that he's training these people to be the best. Only the best will come with him. So if you mess up, that's it, and that's just the way, like army generals and stuff kind of are a lot of the time.
Yeah, he's very Jason Momoa-y.
Yeah, maybe that helps him. But
Scarlett says, is there a season 2 announced yet? Well, there's 5 seasons confirmed.
I don't actually know if they've like
greenlit it.
Yeah, I don't know if there is the potential of pulling it after season 1.
There's always going to be the potential, but with the amount they paid for the rights, they will not pull it.
But that's what I mean. Like,
seasons.
I wonder if there's any chance of them not doing a season 2, or if it's whatever happens, we're going down with this ship.
I think even if this show is badly reviewed, it's still going to make money. At the end of the day,
that is true.
It's
that's all
Lord
that
of the
matters.
Rings.
That's all that matters, really.
And it's not like a network that's like hiring a studio to make something. It's Amazon Studios airing on Amazon Prime, so they're in charge. So yeah, they'll continue. Anyway, on to sorry. The other thing I wanted to touch on here. So you see all those friends. There's the guy that feels sick. I don't know his name. And Valandil. Now, you talked about this in episode 3. Valandil is eventually Isildur's youngest son.
Yes.
So we were like, okay, that's probably a nod.
That it's going to be a sacrifice, and he names his kid after him, kind of his best friend. Yeah, that kind of idea.
But Valandil, and I pretty much got reminded of this on a video I made recently on the Ring of Barahir. Valandil is also one of the lords of the Andunier, right? Now, if that is this Valandil, they could make that quite interesting. I'm not sure if timeline-wise it really matches up, but it doesn't matter in the show because we are compressing the timeline. So Valandil actually ends up in possession of one of of the Ring of Barahir. So they could actually bring the Ring of Barahir, which is the ring that Aragorn wears. They could bring that into the show at some point, which could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about the ring, we released a video on it yesterday. Go and check it out. So Mikey said, you'd think if Isildur was constantly staring into space, he wouldn't be on a ship in the first place. Good way to get crewmates killed. Lol. Lazy writing on his part, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they tried to kind of explain why he's there, and it's all because of his dad.
Yeah.
It's all because of Elendil. Elendil's asked for favors, and he's got his son into things that most people have worked their lives to get to.
Yeah, they basically say that's within the show. Like, he didn't earn his spot there. He doesn't deserve to be there. He got there because of his father. So
the same way he tried to be like, oh, I'll get my father to sort out you two getting kicked off kind of thing. It's like, well, my note from this part was mummy issues. There just seemed to be a lot of, like the fact that the mother isn't there and everything. I'm guessing Isildur became more of this mopey guy after that. And he's that's turned his character into what he is.
Yeah. Was it good? Was it a good episode, or is it still dead? You'll have to listen to our thoughts. Stay tuned.
Yes.
But the tone of our voices, I think, with a lot of this stuff is probably evident to the way we're going. Yeah, there's a few comments there along those lines. Okay, let's talk about the next scene then. So from here, we went to Arondir.
Yes. Now this is a part that I'm at this point I am keen on. I do still like Arondir.
I really like him. Yeah,
I know some people aren't as keen on the original character stuff, but I actually feel like he's one of the strongest parts. Still loving the orc stuff. The orcs still look great. Got a little glimpse of our pug walk again, which I hate to say, but even again, I feel like didn't look like when he was eating the rabbit or whatever it was eating in the cage. Again, I felt like that looked a bit. It just looked CG.
Yeah.
But that is what that is. It was kind of a nothing moment. But yeah, he's kind of getting the moment where we finally get to see Adar, father, as he kept getting called.
This scene was quite strong, in my opinion. This was one of the strongest scenes. I actually was pleasantly surprised by Adar, whatever he is being called. I think he's clearly very sympathetic towards the orcs.
Yes,
I like his look. He looks great.
Yeah, I'm loving the twisted elf story idea. Like, that's always a story I would love to hear.
As soon as he came on screen, I very much got vibes of this image.
Yes, this is a classic image of the corruption of elves into orcs, and I think it does a great job with it.
Yeah.
And in fact, like, because obviously in this scene we see there's the orc that's been wounded and is dying, and Adar kind of comes and basically puts him to peace. He has that sympathy for the orcs. He respects them. He treats them as something with a soul, I guess.
Yeah.
Which realistically orcs don't. They've been corrupted to a point where they are irredeemable. Which does also worry me that we're going to get the redeemable orc kind of storyline, which I hope we don't. I can understand more that is this elf turned to the darker side of things, but can respect that these orcs were once corrupted from people just like him. And that's kind of where the respect comes from, is you were once a good person, a good thing, and now you can maybe get some peace as this part of you has died.
Yeah.
Maybe, don't know. Also hard to see why he would also, I mean, maybe that's why he also leads them, is trying to show the world for what it is kind of thing, but also protect those that were once like him.
Another cool little reveal we got here was Adar asked Arondir where he was from, and he says Baleriand, which is pretty cool. So he's a elf of Baleriand. There's a line here from Adar as well, which I thought was quite interesting. He states that he is not a god, but then he says, not yet. And this is playing very much into him being Sauron.
Yeah.
Surely. Because they basically said in episode 3 that he was Sauron. Obviously, he's not.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, Sauron went by many names. Adar could be one of them. It's like, really?
In this episode, we get a few hints towards who Sauron could be. Again, we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, overall, I was quite impressed with Adar. I liked the look of him. I liked the actor's performance. I don't know. I'm curious to see more, which I think is very important when it comes to a bad guy.
You know? Oh yes, yeah.
You get kind of Joker vibes from him. Do you know what I mean? Like he's a bit twisted.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sympathize with him. But I don't want to relate to him.
Yeah.
But I want to understand him. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. That's just it. So long as people's motives are like you can understand why they get to the points they do. They could be the craziest, most ridiculous, over the top person in the world. But if the story for them to get to that point is believable, maybe not quite the right word, but understandable, then you could get on board with it and it makes the characters work great. It's when you get the ones who just get shoehorned into, oh no, he's just crazy. It's like, well, yeah, but why? Like you live the same life as all these other people who aren't crazy. So what is the difference? So yeah. But yeah, I am very much keen on this part of this side of the story.
Same. Like Jeffrey said here, heck yeah, all the orc stuff is rad and Adar is so badass. I can't wait to learn more about Theo's sword or blood.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I'm loving the orcs. I really like Arondir. I like Adar. So I don't really have too many negative things to say about that side of the story.
No, not yet. However,
yes,
we will get onto the back a bit.
We then go to Bronwyn and Theo.
Yes.
They've moved everyone to the watchtower.
Yes.
And
which Adar has also just reveals he knows.
Yes.
He's basically then because that's I suppose you have mentioned is that he's letting Arondir go.
Yeah.
Because that was one bit I was curious about. Is obviously we've all seen from the trailers and stuff that he gets back with the men of the Southlands. So it was like, well, please don't say he has some over the top escape sequence.
Yeah.
So I like the fact he was sent with a message. I feel that is better than him escaping.
I agree. So they're at the watchtower and they need food. They're already kind of low on food. So Bronwyn says that I think Theo suggests that they can send like a party into the village and try and scrape some goods.
Yep.
And he volunteers to go. So Bronwyn says, look, you can either help me or you can make this harder.
Yeah.
And we cut to,
but also
he's in the village making it harder.
And I hate to bring up this point, but I feel like I need to bring it up. Why is she in charge? What makes her the one to be in charge?
Because she's the one that discovered the orcs, killed an orc.
But they've also brought together many villages now. Like they were introduced with another village turning up, and she makes a reference to Eregion. So from here to Eregion, every village has kind of come. Which, nice little reference, but it's one of those that I'm just like, how is there no one else? At least challenging her, I guess. Might be the better way.
The guy literally says, "Who put you in charge?"
Yeah, and then it's just kind of accepted. Like, if you know what I mean, like it was one of the.
I get it, but someone's got a rule.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just one of those. It's the forced circumstance of her suddenly being the one in charge, and like,
yeah, I don't know. That bit didn't really bother me. What did bother me is Theo and his mate just going into the town straight away to get food. Like, why? What is within Theo's interest? Is he actually trying to help? Because his mum literally said, "Look, you'll just make things harder for me." But then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to do it anyway."
Teenage boys, that's what they do.
Yeah. So he goes into. Wait, that's not yet, is it? No, yeah, he does just go straight into the.
Yeah, it just cuts to him and his mate.
Yeah,
the one from before, being like, "Oh, how did you talk me into this?" When they're already there.
Yeah, we get a glimpse of the sword handle in Theo's trousers, and then an orc very quickly finds Theo. Doesn't take long.
Going into the tavern.
Yeah,
and then they're like, don't go in there. And he's like, but I'm gonna go in there.
And there's a scene so super cliche where he's kind of backing up. They hear a noise, and you can see there's an orc over his shoulder. I don't know if it's meant to be a jump scare. It wasn't scary. It's just kind of cliche.
Yeah, I mean, like we kind of said, the orcs at this point do look great.
Yeah.
I like the orcs almost have chance to speak a little bit. But Theo, I haven't got on board with yet, and I'm still cannot get on board with. At no point have I liked his character, and I'm still struggling with that.
Yeah, we do find out here that it is actually that sword handle that the orcs have been searching for. When Theo brings it out, the orc is like terrified by it, but also at the same time desperate for it.
Yeah.
Theo stabs himself and forges through flames. The full sword appears.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of fights back the orc and runs away. The orc chases him, and he hides in a well. Cool.
Yeah.
There's also a little bit here where he hides underwater, and then the orc looks in and okay, there's nothing down there. And as soon as the orc turns around, he's like, dude, just subtly sneak up out of the water. Come on.
Yeah. It was just awful. I don't know how okay, well, we come back to Theo a bit later with the worst part, so I won't go into it now because that's kind of where this part ends, isn't it? Basically the orcs are hunting, and he's hiding in a well.
It gets worse when we come back to it, but
but it also makes you think of suddenly there was quite a few orcs there. I believe, I think they showed it at this point already. There were already quite a few orcs there, but literally it was like moments ago they were just walking around with nothing around. So it's, and also the other kid who runs off with the trolley of stuff, the orcs would have caught him in.
Well, he was running away in the sunlight, so we saw the shadow cast.
I suppose
that kind of makes sense. But this whole Theo sequence, he just comes across super dumb.
Yes,
and we'll get to that.
I feel like that is the part that affected a lot of the show.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, we'll get to that.
There's a lot of dumb characters, but we'll get to it.
Yes. But then we go back to Eregion, and we get to see Celebrimbor again.
We do.
Which I'm all for Celebrimbor. The look maybe not so much, but I'm liking the actor. I'm liking Celebrimbor. You feel like there is more to his plans than he's letting on at this point, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they have a nice conversation here. There was a few nice lore references in this episode, and this is kind of one of them where Celebrimbor's like, I can see your father in you, Elrond.
Yeah,
and I did like that. I liked the mention of Eärendil.
So did I, and I like the fact that he said something along the lines of, Eärendil mentioned to him years before that Elrond would have a big part in his future.
Yes,
so it was cool. I enjoyed it. We also see the beginning of the building of the Forge Tower, which is happening quick.
That's why they wanted the dwarves.
Yeah,
elves couldn't do that, they wouldn't. Elves were willing to do that.
Yeah,
but the dwarves are capable. So yes. Yeah, and then we end up basically back at Khazad-dum because we find out that Durin is avoiding Celebrimbor or whatnot. So yeah. Back to Khazad-dum.
Khazad-dum. Let me get my graphic up. There we go.
There we go. Khazad-dum. Yeah, it was nice. We get a nice scene now with Elrond and Disa to start with, where Elrond's very clearly being like, "Look, you're hiding something. I know he's hiding something. Tell me what he's hiding." And she's like, "Oh, don't know what you mean."
Disa is one of the characters that I don't have a bad thing to say.
No, I enjoy it when she's on screen.
Yes.
I don't have any issues with her. I do like that. It's very obvious Elrond knows that they're hiding something, and he's just trying to figure it out, kind of moment. And Disa's literally just trying to make stuff up on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still pro Disa.
Just as we've gone on to Khazad-dum now, but there's a comment here about Celebrimbor. They turned him into a Doc Brown clown character. So cringe. His story is super dark. They made him a joke. I do get what you're saying.
Yes, I'm like, this is the thing we've said many times, and I feel like it's almost like we could just pre-record this and play it like every other sentence. Is if they develop the character to a point where it becomes dark. And this is kind of how he starts. And you see that originally Celebrimbor was not a dark person. He didn't have bad intentions. But with the actions he takes, he becomes that and goes down that path. I think it could be a really interesting character arc that they take.
I'm hoping it's just, portraying him this way is a way to change his character.
Yes.
If he stays like this, it's concerning.
Yes.
How good is Arondia's Fade? It's super elven.
Yes.
Okay. Where were we?
So we were back in Khazad-dum. Elrond and Disa had their chat. Elrond's basically being like, "Look, you're saying he's mining. He hasn't got his mining stuff. You're saying he's not back for a couple of days. Or you're saying he's gone away. He won't be back for a couple of days. But you're making food for him for later," kind of thing. And then it kind of goes, "Okay, then, yeah, whatever you say." And then you see Disa and Durin talking on one of their bridge areas.
Yeah.
And basically talking about something private
One of these
out in
bridges.
the open, and basically saying like, look, don't start mentioning about how the old mine is going well, and but let's not talk about it here. And then it cuts to Elrond, and he can hear everything from however far away it was. I can't remember exactly how far they.
Oh, that's in a mine as well. So you have Elrond, the super hearing elf.
Yeah,
which I mean,
I can get it inside a mine because sound would travel more.
Yeah,
but
and we know that elves like. What does the elf eye see? We know that they are heightened when compared to men. So okay, but yeah, he whispers or mimes to himself, Miramir.
Yes.
So there we go. He hears what they're talking about. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's
wasn't he lip reading? Oh, that's okay. He could be lip reading.
Oh,
okay.
Point.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of these things I might need to watch back, but I felt like they cut to his ears first, which is why I felt that, but I might be misremembering.
Yeah.
Lip reading could work better because obviously the eyes, elf eyes makes more sense. Yeah. So either way, he finds out and he goes investigating.
He does. There's a moment here then where he comes across some footprints or something, and is like, oh, they're going behind that wall. And then suddenly he does this special knock with a kind of chant on this wall, and it opens. How does he know?
Yeah, I don't know if, again, don't know if it's something I'm forgetting, but I just don't know where this came from.
Yeah.
It seemed very plucked out of thin air.
Yeah, he just knows this secret dwarven knock. I just don't know. That it just felt lazy. Like, oh, Elrond, he's smart. He knows.
Yeah.
The comment here saying Disa is honestly the most likable character in the show. Yeah, it's hard to argue that, to be honest. Hard to argue. She's fantastic. Okay, moving on. We then get the final reveal here that, of course, the secret, mysterious substance that they are mining is mithril.
Yes. And after Elrond makes his oath to not tell anyone.
Sorry. It's just been confirmed to us. The kids were singing the knocking game.
Oh,
that makes sense now. Thank you for yes, missed that. How did we both miss that? Thank you very much. That makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah, they did make a big thing of the chanting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that makes it any better that that's the secret password. Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess it
makes more sense now.
Makes more sense. Not sure it makes it better.
Because I think Disa also tells him to stop
and
play a different game. So, okay, yeah. I'm okay with that now. Yes, so we have mithril. The scene ends then with Elrond inspecting the mithril and explaining how the light hits it differently. It's almost like it's lit from within. And he then goes to hand it back to Durin, and Durin says, no, keep it. It's a symbol of our friendship. It's a token of our friendship, which I thought was nice. It was a nice scene. I really like the chemistry between those two, the characters and the actors. I think it works well.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I was just reading some comments. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So from there, then obviously they hand the mithril, and then suddenly the ground starts shaking, and a big plume of smoke, if that's the right word, comes out. And something I did like about Durin's character at this point, he just runs straight in.
Yeah.
He's like, nope.
There's 4 dwarves in there.
Yep. So he runs straight afterwards. Yeah. And basically, it cuts away. He runs into a collapsing mine, and we go somewhere else.
Yes. We go back to Numenor, and we see that Galadriel has been locked up. Now,
yes,
to be honest, every time Galadriel comes on screen, I'm just a bit like, oh, eye rolling.
Yeah, it's turning into what are they going to do now with her moment. And
this is one of the most, like, this really, really, really got me sad, for lack of a better word. So the first thing here, we get her locked up, and Halbrand starts talking to her, and he's like mansplaining stuff to her, basically. He's like, so why are you locked up? And she explains, for talking smack to the queen. And she seems to think that it was because she suggested that they form an alliance between the Numenorians and the elves to fight Sauron and save the Southlanders. And he says, no, that can't be it. It must be something else. And she's like, oh, I also mentioned the king. And he's like, yeah, that'll do it. So Galadriel didn't get that it was the mention of the king that made the queen angry. She thought it was the mention of the, like, man, big sigh. It just makes her look dumb. Like, is Galadriel stupid in this? I just don't get it. What are they trying to achieve with her character?
I really, really don't know.
I don't even have anything to defend the writing for her character. It just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah. And this isn't even the worst. Well, it's one of the worst, but it's not even the last worst bit. Because more stuff happens later. Well, I say later, as in a few seconds later.
Yeah.
So Farazon comes down then.
Yes.
With after she's kind of realized, Farazon comes down with some guards and basically says, look, we got you a ship, you're leaving, you're coming with the guards, and just do it, basically. Which, okay, fine, yeah, she has to leave. She comes out and she then, without a weapon, disarms and throws 4 Numenorian guards into a jail cell, just casually. Okay, I get she's supposed to be a good warrior. I get that. But to just out of nowhere with no weapon or anything taking on these guards, but it's not even just taking on the guards, but it's the pushing them in the cell and locking the door behind them type moment so she can escape. It was... I didn't believe any of the choreography of it to help sell the fact that that could happen. And it was just one of those moments that really made me facepalm.
Yeah. But she's ignorant. She's stupid. Like, she's just not Galadriel in any sense. And there's a comment I just saw a second ago that said that apparently she's not the same Galadriel. Well, she is. Of course she is.
Well, she's not.
No, but
she is not.
Like someone said here that apparently she's not the same Galadriel who lived with the Melian. Now, I mean, she has the same father and the same.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. No.
Same brother.
The character in name is the same. In technical backstory is mostly the same. In what we see develop in front of us is not the same. And it's just become more and more apparent and more in your face and more unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like we've said, we can accept changes to characters if it makes sense.
Yeah.
But what they're doing with Galadriel is not making sense, and they're not getting closer to it making sense. They're going further and further away. Okay, yes, they still have 4 episodes to bring it back. We've had 4. They've done a lot of damage. In 4 episodes, they could bring a lot back. Not saying it's impossible, saying, though, that they've showed no signs of making that happen.
No. Okay, so let's get on to...
I mean, this actually wouldn't even surprise me. Maybe she hit her head and forgot about Melian. It would surprise me if they bring in someone hits their head and forget half their story kind of moment.
She hit her head and thinks she's 12 years old.
Yes.
Which is why she's acting like a teenager.
Yeah, it's... There's no development in her character yet.
No.
The most we've got is that she listens to Halbrand for a minute. And but it's not even a good listen. It's like, just stop being stupid and pay attention to what you just did.
Yeah,
think for 1 second.
Just use a little bit of common sense.
You are supposed to be one of the wisest beings in Middle Earth. You've seen the light of the trees. You have an incredible reputation to go by. Stop acting like a petty child. Like, it's, yeah.
Now, there's another bit I want to get to here, which, again, is a big sigh moment. When we were in the jail cell with Galadriel and Halbrand, I turned to you and I said, I really hope that Farazon doesn't come down and start talking to Halbrand.
But what happens?
So Farazon comes down and there's a shot. And this is so on the nose. There's a shot of Farazon. He stood there and Halbrand is just like framed over his shoulder. And straight away I went, oh no. And then he says something to Halbrand and Halbrand responds by saying, I can't advise you to do that.
Yeah, he basically says, I can't just let her go. And then Halbrand is basically along the line saying, like, well, let her go.
So what did Halbrand just do there? He advised Farazon.
He whispered in the ear.
Yeah, literally. It's even framed that way. And if you don't know, if you're not aware, I think most of you are. Sauron went to Numenor disguised
Mhm.
and became, well, he got locked up.
Yeah.
And started basically whispering in the ear of Pharazôn and eventually
Yes.
became his advisor.
Yes. He basically surrendered to, well, in the ways, he surrendered to Pharazôn's army
Mhm.
and was taken to Numenor.
Mhm.
Put in a jail cell
Mhm.
after surrendering. What does Halbrand do? Surrender to the Numenorians. Let them say, "Let me stay, please," and gets locked up in a jail cell. I mean, I've really been against this in our Who is Halbrand video.
Yeah, we basically said it can't happen. Galadriel would recognize him.
It's too obvious.
It's so obvious. But now that
But now too obvious is becoming that's going to happen.
Now the problem is, we have been saying again, and we could put this on repeat too. Hopefully, they are making it seem like Halbrand is Sauron, so that they can do the old switcheroo and pull someone out of the bag that we're like, "Oh wow, I did not see that coming. That's a great twist." Now I've been saying that there's a chance, and hopefully not, that we're giving the writers too much credit there, and really it probably is just going to be Sauron, or Halbrand is Sauron. I've been hoping onto the fact that no, these writers know what they're doing, and it's just a red herring. They're just throwing us off the trail. Now I'm starting to think that maybe they are just being that obvious and lazy with it.
I think it's possible.
What we got to remember as well is this show, and we know this for sure, this show is not aimed at all at Tolkien lore experts, right? It's aimed at the wider general audience, and it's to bring fresh people to Middle-earth, to Tolkien's works. Now, those people, that target audience, that demographic, they don't know the story of, well, they're unlikely to know the story of Sauron going in disguise to Numenor and becoming Pharazôn's advisor. That's not something you know unless you've read multiple books from Tolkien, which, again, the general audience that this is aimed at probably hasn't. If so, Amazon wouldn't be aiming it to bring in a new audience to Tolkien's works if they'd already read it, if that makes sense. So they don't need to make it super unobvious to those people because they don't know about it. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It's a poor choice.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. Yeah, it's... Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm struggling a little bit with this part. Because the good is good, but the bad is so bad.
Yeah, we've got a few people here. Like, I mean, Matt said, "Oh, I don't think he's Sauron." I don't want him to be Sauron.
I'm praying he's not, but it's almost getting so obvious. I just don't know.
Yeah, people are saying about Adar. The Easy Gamer says Adar is an elf. It's not him. Yes, but I mean, Anatar was in the form of an elf, so it doesn't make a difference.
It's one of those. Yeah, we kind of need to get onto a bit that happens later on for another discussion to do with Adar and the possibility that he could be Sauron. Not saying he is, but
I mean, Ryan says Halbrand will be the Witch King. They won't have Sauron not surrender to Ar-Pharazôn in battle.
Except we don't have Ar-Pharazôn. We just have Pharazôn, the counselor. Counselor? Yeah,
he's a counselor.
Yeah. So it's yeah. That was only one thing as well. It's like Pharazôn is supposed to be like he's supposed to have spent years and years basically at sea, conquering lands, being a great leader, basically like a soldier. The stance he took up when Galadriel went to escape seemed a bit not like one of the great soldiers kind of. He just looked a bit like panicky.
Yeah.
Which I get is Galadriel, but it was there's little things like that there's no confidence in himself, which Pharazôn should have confidence in himself. Yeah. So I feel like we should move on at the moment. Oh wait, no, because we have more stupidness. I say stupidness. Because we then basically cut to Galadriel has escaped, and we have our Assassin's Creed moment again. We had a hint at this last episode when she was jumping over the top. And now she climbs the outside of a tower and breaks in through the window.
Imagine Kate Blanchett doing that. My Galadriel. The real Galadriel.
Yeah.
It's just... Come on, guys.
I mean, it's a weird one, because I'm not saying that they couldn't... It's not possible for an elf like Galadriel to do that. It just feels so...
It's just wrong.
The way that they're going about it.
Yeah.
It's... Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she sneaks in the
So-
throne like Spider-Man. Yes, she
and
does.
discovers Muriel with her father. And basically Muriel going, you know what? As soon as I heard you escape, I knew where you were coming. It's just like,
Hmm.
but how did
I mean,
you know that?
she
Because
probably would, because she knows she wants to speak to the king.
yes, but
If I was Muriel, my first guess
Yeah,
would
I
be she's going to go
suppose.
speak to the king.
but Galadriel didn't even know that's what she wanted to do. Like, because she only realized that the king was the problem because of Halbrand, and now that's where she's going.
No,
If
because she
you-
brought it up
Yeah.
before to the queen, which is what got
Yeah.
her arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, we do get a nice little Easter egg here, though, of seeing Anjura.
Oh, yes. I mean, we think.
We think it was
It
quite.
looks very much like this, but white.
Mm.
The design was very similar. There was like kind of a hole in
Yeah.
the hilt here, and yeah, I think we do see Andrew. We also, of course, see the Palantir. Was that the same scene? Yes. It was.
Yes, we yeah, we almost.
Oh, there's another.
They-
Actually, here there's another massive hint that Halbrand is Sauron. So Galadriel holds on to the Palantir. She sees the vision of the drowning of Numenor, and Muriel explains that this is happening. It came with you. This vision starts with your arrival. You have brought the downfall of Numenor with you. Who else does she bring with her? Halbrand. Who is basically responsible for the drowning of Numenor? Sauron. They're telling us. They are telling us that Halbrand is Sauron. And I'm hoping, again, they're making it so obvious because it's not the case. But who knows now? I'm just getting more and more worried.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And they've changed a little bit with the Palantirs as well. Because she says 6 of them are lost or hidden, and there's only 7. And they've got the only Palantir, is basically what she says. When they did know about the other ones, is how they communicated on Numenor a lot of the time. So I guess it's their way of, because they keep talking about how the west of Numenor is this like part of Numenor we don't talk about anymore. It's where the crazy Anarion has gone to and all that kind of stuff. So there's probably some Palantir there or something.
Yeah. Matthew just dropped in, but I'm really not into Galadriel's characterization in the show. Am I the only one? You are certainly not. We have just spent the last 47 minutes talking about how much her character sucks.
Yeah. Okay, this click on Ross McDowell's comment. Why are you so opposed to him being Sauron?
Because it goes back to Galadriel, realistically.
Yeah.
For me, she wouldn't be so easily fooled. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But again, this version of Galadriel is stupid, as proven in this episode. So
yeah, I just don't feel like there's enough of a payoff for any of that to happen. It just feels like lazy writing if it is him.
I remember before episode 1 even came out and we had the character posters, there was literally a rumor going around immediately that Halbrand would end up being Sauron.
Was that?
Yep, straight away, before we even saw an episode. And I remember thinking...
From the hand posters?
No, when we first saw like stills and stuff.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. With you.
I remember thinking, that could work. Like, obviously, we're all expecting to, in some way, see Anatar. But if they bring in some random new character, because Sauron's a shapeshifter, it kind of works. But the way they're doing this and the way that he's involved with Galadriel's story, I'm completely against. We have a super chat, Rings of Power, from Turkey-based her. Rings of Power is awful. Sophomoric writers trying to reboot an existing franchise because they are creatively bankrupt. The law breaking is almost criminal. I feel like 2 weeks ago I would have really fought you on this, but a lot of the stuff that I've been defending is becoming more and more apparent that it may actually just be bad. I'm not going to say it's awful. The show definitely has its positives. There's a lot that I like, but there's also a lot that I do not like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wish I could watch this without any knowledge of Tolkien's works.
I wish you could turn the Tolkien brain off.
Yeah, and just go, well, how is this as a show? Like, is it working for someone who doesn't know where the dots should be connected? Or is it bad both ways, basically?
Yeah.
And I can't put myself in that seat properly. So I still feel like it's iffy, but I don't feel like it'd be as bad.
Yeah, true. Thank you very much for the super chat, though. There's a few comments here talking about how Halbrand can't be Sauron. Like Matt says, I don't think he can be Sauron because how could he also be in Celebrimbor's ear to create the rings?
Well, they could make that happen because we haven't seen him with Celebrimbor or anyone with Celebrimbor. So he could have been with Celebrimbor and then gone back and then ended up on the sea.
Yeah.
It's
For all we know, he told Celebrimbor what he wanted 2 months ago, and now Celebrimbor has gone to Gil-galad, and Gil-galad has sent him Elrond.
And the whole thing is he's not with his people, so doesn't mean he was in the Southlands any of that time either. So we don't know. It could be. I mean, if they do like that end of the season finale, cut into Celebrimbor talking with Halbrand, so and so talking with Halbrand, Halbrand over here, Halbrand forcing himself on a ship, which and it's just
yeah.
Anyway, let's move on from this because
it's making me angry.
Okay, this isn't going to help. Let's move on to debatably my least favorite part of the episode, and that says a lot.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Okay.
Theo.
Back in the Southlands.
We're back in the Southlands. Let me change my graphic.
Theo is still hiding in this well, holding onto the bucket, and it's nighttime.
And he goes, I know when will be a good time to leave. When there's loads of scary monsters around. When it's dark.
Yes. And not even quietly.
No.
Not even trying to be stealthy. Just like an idiot, clumping around, trying to pick up a bag of food while he does it. When at this point, you'd be like, you know what? Hopefully my mate made off with the food. Like, what's one bag of this going to do when it's probably going to slow me down? Because I'm limping anyway. Why?
Yeah,
why?
I just don't get it. It's him leaving at night.
It felt like a really poor game scene.
Yeah.
Like, you go to this wall, crouch down, the orc walks past.
Yeah.
You get up and go, and you kind of forget the fact that orc who walked past would literally probably be watching you do that from where he was stood.
Yeah, and it's all kind of done in one shot, I think. And he kind of gets to the corner of this building, and he like looks back with a smile on his face, like, I did it.
Yeah.
But you're now in view of everyone you just walked past. You're not hiding now. And then he goes to walk in the corner and gets taken straight away. How did the orc around the corner know he was there? It's all just so convenient and cliche, and man.
Yeah,
it's crap.
I like the Southlands storyline.
Yeah.
I cannot stand Theo.
No.
And I don't know if I should like him. I don't know if the intention is for you to like this character, but I cannot stand him, and I cannot stand anything he's done so far.
Yeah.
He really grinds on my gears for everything he does. Yeah, that whole sequence, like, I love the orcs.
Yeah.
I love the idea of them searching this village for this person, but the way he escapes was so poorly executed, or doesn't even escape as such, I guess. Yeah, I'm really, really struggling with it.
So am I. There's a comment here that I'll bring up from Mikey. He says, I'm just watching this to enjoy being in Middle-earth again. Like you said, all adaptations are fan fiction. It's not going to hit all the right notes, but as a fantasy fan, Tolkien fan, I'm happy just to have a Middle-earth show.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. It is fan fiction, and that's how I'm taking it. It's big budget, very impressive looking fan fiction, but doesn't mean it's good writing.
No. Again, it's one of those that at this point, when it's over, I can't say if I would rewatch it. I
agree, yeah.
The curiosity in me has to watch it to the end.
Yeah.
I have to complete it. I can't think of a show I've ever been able to give up on before finishing. Even if I don't think it's good, just because I need to know I need to get to the end just to make a full opinion on it, and not one with half the information. So no matter what, I'm finishing Rings of Power.
Yeah, same as me.
I feel like
it is a Middle-earth based show, so of course we're going to finish it.
I mean, if I did still have much hair, I think I would end up like this anyway.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
Anyway, let's carry on. Where were we?
The orc that captures Theo is about to cut his head off and take the weapon for Adar, and of course, Arondia arrives just in the nick of time.
Yes.
Right place, right time.
Yes.
Also, Adar sends him to the watchtower, and he just happens to appear in the village at the exact moment. I get that he's probably got to go through the village from where he was being captured to get to the watchtower. That makes sense, but it's just the timing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those of okay, if he is kind of going past this village, he might see some orcs there. He's not going to go and fight a bunch of orcs. realistically at this point. Just he's going to.
Ooh, sorry, I've just seen a comment that's really interesting. I haven't seen this before. Theo's hair hides his ears. I bet he's Adar's son.
So Bronwyn has had multiple alpha relations.
Oh yeah. Well, it's possible. We just know that elf and man relationships don't work out. Doesn't mean that she couldn't have had a kid with one.
If they've really introduced a woman who's had multiple elf relations,
why not?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Amazon, why not? They'll do anything at this point by the seams of it. But yeah, I don't think so. I still think it's more likely he is Halbrand's potential
Maybe.
son.
He's going to be someone's son, I think.
He's going to end up being Sauron's son.
Matt says, I mean, this show will be over 5 seasons, so I think there will be a lot of misdirection. Yeah, you are right.
We are hoping that.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. And we keep saying this, we're hoping we're not giving the writers too much credit in saying that. I think that it is going to be misdirection, but the more that I'm seeing, the more I'm going, oh no, maybe it's just bad writing. Please say I'm wrong. I'm praying to Ariel Levata that I am wrong.
Like quite often in seasons of TV shows, when you reach this episode 4 or 5 point, they tend to be the weaker episodes. It's not you haven't quite kicked into full gear to get to that finale. You haven't quite got the interestingness of a setup that kind of comes at the beginning. It's kind of that midpoint that gets everyone to the points they need to get to for the end. So most likely these will be weaker episodes in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just don't know. I really don't know. I don't know.
Apparently it's going to be 2 years between seasons.
I did hear that. Yeah, I did hear it might be 2024, whatever it is.
We have another super chat from Ahmed. I think we're solidly in the Hobbit movies territory.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
I don't think we're far off that at this point.
It looks nicer than the Hobbit movies. The Hobbit movies were so reliant on CGI. At least they learned from those mistakes, and we have real orcs.
Yeah.
That's the best I'm going to give it.
Great argument there. Yeah. I'm sold. No, it's the yeah. Yeah, don't want to seem like we're just having a rant about, say, Galadriel and the character and stuff. Because, we'll admit, Peter Jackson in The Lord of the Rings changed characters. Faramir, very different character. Aragorn is a different character. But they were done well.
Yeah.
So it's not saying you can't change Tolkien's characters into live action versions and have them altered as people just a bit to make it work for what you're telling. And it not be like they've shown they do it amazingly.
Yeah.
It's doable. Hobbit, Thorin was changed slightly as well in his kind of leadership stuff. It was done, but again, that wasn't necessarily the worst. That wasn't the worst part about the Hobbit at all.
No.
Yeah. So I don't know. We may have gone past Hobbit territory in some regards.
In some, yeah.
But not in others. In others, it is still better.
Yes, with Galadriel, we've gone past it. But Ahmed, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. So where are we at now?
Okay, so we are at the point Arondir has just saved Theo. And they are suddenly running through the woods.
Yeah, so this is a shot, or we see a lot of shots from this sequence in the trailers. There's the slow motion stuff of the orcs running through the forest, which I was okay with. It's a little bit overuse of slow-mo.
Yeah, I fully, there was too much slow-mo in general in this episode for me. They've overdone it. They've killed it for me on the slow-mo front.
In the trailer, I didn't like the Arondir catching the arrow and firing it back. In this sequence, I kind of, it was okay. Again, too much slow-mo, but it was all right. It was okay. Yeah. I'm seeing comments here basically saying that Tauriel from The Hobbit is actually better than Rings of Power Galadriel. Yeah, can't argue it. I saw another comment here from Dev. 2 years between seasons. You're telling me I got to wait 8+ years to see the Rings of Power finale.
I mean, we had to wait, what, 5-6 years since they bought the rights just for season 1. So
yeah, true.
Oh, that's a journey from buying the rights to completion.
Yeah.
I mean, they may need 2 years of rewrites at this point.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go for, oh yeah, we've written all 5 seasons to go in. Yeah, we've rewritten seasons 2 to 5. Sorry.
Yeah. They need to take the finger off the slow-mo button. Yes. They certainly do. It is being massively overused. This is quite a funny comment as well. Dustin said, "Orcs need some archery practice." I literally, in my notes, there's a line here. I don't know if you can see that. Orcs don't practice archery. See that, James?
Yes.
So yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah. So yes. Okay. So yeah, we're in the woods. Arondir saving Theo, kicks him to the floor, catches the arrow, shoots it back.
Mm-hmm.
I could get on board with that as a one-off moment.
Yeah.
He's firing, and then Bronwyn appears
and just runs towards arrows being fired in that direction.
Yeah.
Seems sensible.
Yeah, and it's just...
I get her kids there, but also Arondir's there, saving the day. You probably shouldn't also make yourself at risk to make things worse for Arondir.
Yeah, like if it was to grab him and pull him behind a tree, pull him to cover, to actually protect him, but it wasn't. It was kind of just a, hug.
And it's ironic because, 20 minutes earlier, she said, you can either help me or you can make things harder. Well, she's just come in and can either help Arondir or make things harder for him. She just makes things harder because now he's got to protect two people.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree with this comment from Anna. There we go. It was a bit like the music. It was all just too dramatic. It was almost like I know it's a TV show and we have to suspend disbelief and blah, 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 blah. But we knew they were all going to survive. There was no doubt. And they made it feel like Haldir was dying.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a case of, it felt a bit, they were trying too hard to make it dramatic with all the slow-mo, with the music, with Bronwyn appearing. It was just a bit, and the Orcs can't hit a barn door, so it doesn't help them. Like if someone took an arrow.
You're right about the Orcs not practicing. However, they shot the elf in episode 3 with not much issue. Definitely bad writing.
Shot him twice.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah. It would have been funny if you saw like an arrow fly past his head first, and he's like, huh? Another one. Then eventually one hits him. But no. And no, that wouldn't actually be good. Let's move on, because I'm getting sad. So they escape, they get to the tree line, and then the sun rises. So
Good timing.
Theo should have just he basically howled out all night and then decided to just before daybreak make a run for it.
Yeah.
Again,
it's so
either that or they've been chased for a long, long time, in which case Theo with a messed up leg with a wound was not going to do that anyway.
Yeah, I can get Arondir running for a few hours.
Yeah, he'll go forever. That's fine.
Yeah, Theo, it just comes across as real lazy writing. And there's been comments that have said this. At the moment, 4 episodes in, I feel like, I'm saying this, I'm putting it out there, I'm doing it, guys. I feel like we would have written a better show. You hear that, Amazon?
I honestly don't doubt that.
4 episodes in, I honestly believe that we could have.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that because we're not even writers.
No.
We're filmmakers, we're not writers. That's how disappointed I
feel
by the writing.
You can't imagine how much the writers got paid for this.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. I mean, I'll put it out there. We'll wait till the season's over, because obviously we don't know where they're going to go. But we will do if we wrote season 1 of The Rings of Power, we won't just completely destroy and pretend things aren't there. Everything they've introduced, we will have introduced. But we will rewrite season 1 of The Rings of Power and show you how it should have been done.
Yes, or at least how we would have done it.
And that's how it should have been done. No. So Orcs, sunlight, don't want to go out of the trees. Have plenty of opportunity to shoot at these 3. They don't. And then they run away with Orcs then shooting a few arrows. And I mean a couple of arrows. At this point, they know they've got this help that they're searching for. You would unload every single arrow. You would be throwing your swords at them at this point if it brings them down.
Yeah.
Or, like they do, just cover themselves up slightly from the sun. They only need to cover up the one side because of where the sun's rising, and then run. There's no reason they can't go out. Some of them do still have their helmets and stuff on. They have the protection. They can go out in the sun.
Yeah.
The ones that have no protection on their face, okay, I get maybe that's the part they're going for that they can't. But some of them had the protection to go out there. They didn't all need to stop.
Yeah. It's so frustrating because I genuinely really like Arondir. I like everything about him. I like his everything apart from his hair. I've got to put that out there. I don't like his hair. But him, I like the actor. I like the way he moves. I like the way he delivers lines. I just enjoy his character. But it's a shame that it's like Galadriel.
Hmm.
He's just kind of plonked in these stupid storylines that are just lazy. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few comments about the dwarf stuff is the only enjoyable thing about the show, and it's starting to feel that way.
Yes. So let's take this moment to move on.
Okay.
Because then we go back to the dwarves.
Yeah. Okay. I'll also.
Oh, wait, do we go straight back or sorry? Do we?
Okay.
Oh wait,
I'm forward a page. That's why I'm confused. Yeah, there. Catch arrow. Okay, Orcs don't practice.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're back to Elrond.
Yes. Yeah. So at this point, we see Disa having her like moment.
I thought you were going to sing it then.
I was so tempted, but I don't want to lose all our viewers. And at this point, it's like, oh, she's singing to the stones. Is this a funeral? It's that little moment of what's happening. Obviously, we know really that Durin's not going to be dead. But basically, we find out that Elrond saved Durin from going into the mine and getting captured with the rest from Disa, which I like. And I like that Elrond and Disa have this moment of basically being like, Disa's like, I'm sorry for lying to you. And he's like, well, no, you were lying for your family. Like, that's good. Like, you were lying to protect my friend. I have no problem with that at all. You've got to do that, which I like. The character development with those three, I'm loving. And that's something they're getting right.
Yeah.
And shows that they are capable of writing a good trio of characters that work off each other from different races, from different backgrounds, and developing a friendship. They can do it.
Yeah, they can. So can they do it some more, please? I feel like
please, sir, can I have some more character development?
If we're talking about the show in general, I feel like about 20% of it is well written, 80% of it is lazy and generic. That's how I feel. 20% of the show is fantastic. I honestly mean that. I'd say like, I don't know, maybe another 40% is very poor, and the remainder, I'm not going to do the math. Another 40% is average.
Yeah,
acceptable.
I'd say that average is on the fence as well. They could bring it over to great,
yes,
or they could fall very drastically into dreadful.
I don't agree that 100% is lazy. So some of it's good. There is some good stuff going on.
There are moments. Some of the lore references are good and they make sense at the time. A couple of them have been kind of just forced in on you, and you're a bit like, you're doing that just because you think there's a Tolkien fan or two actually watching. But a lot of them are done well. Yeah,
I like the talk about Elendil and the Valar, all that stuff. That's great. Oh, we have another super chat. This one from Texas Sci-Fi. Thank you very much. Why don't we see dwarf children? Is there a reason? I think the reason is, if I was a showrunner here, I would not want to take on that challenge. How do you show dwarf children?
I feel like if you show a dwarf child, that basically has to be full CG or very heavily CG slashed, like green screened and plopped on. Like, which I know they do a lot of this forced perspective green screen stuff anyway, with the dwarves and Elrond and everything being in the same scenes. But I feel like they would struggle a lot with children.
Yeah, I think it'd just be kind of controversial.
Yeah, they don't need to be seen. That's kind of one of those things of like, it's not necessary for anything to see them at this point. And I feel like it was a potential thing that could take you out of it, which they've had in other moments anyway. But yes.
Great question, and thank you for the super chat.
Yes.
Anna says they changed the Durin being reborn law. That's weird. Yeah, so Durin is obviously supposed to be reincarnated each time. We've touched upon that in the past, and it's something we do not like. But it is also interesting to see a dynamic between Durin and his father. It just didn't need to be another Durin. That makes sense.
Yes, I don't know. Yeah, he says the lines along the lines of like, you'll always live within me. No, I'll always live within you, or that kind of idea.
Yeah.
Basically, like, the Force will be with you. The Durin will be with you. And it's thing is, I like Elder Durin.
Yeah, I do.
He feels very dwarf to me. He feels very dwarf Elder King, and I love that vibe. But we've got so little of him, and I feel like that his relationship to Prince Durin is an interesting one to go through, because obviously King Durin kind of just wants to establish stuff. He wants to be cautious. He wants the dwarves to thrive, but Prince Durin wants the dwarves to thrive by pushing as fast as we can to be making this greater kingdom that has potential.
Is that true? They haven't said the Dwarf King's name in any episodes. I haven't picked up on that.
Have they not?
Someone here has said the subtitles say his name.
Ah, right. Okay. That's interesting. I hadn't actually picked up they hadn't said it
No.
yet, though. But we know from pre-release stuff that he's been labeled as Durin. So, but no, it's interesting they haven't said it.
So in this Durin scene, they talk briefly about Elrond and if he's being sincere, and they both kind of agree that no, there's something more at work. So Durin says to his father, "Look, I've been invited to go with Elrond to Lindon."
Yes.
Which is, I kind of expected them to go together to Eregion, but it looks like maybe they're going to see Gil-galad.
Yes, because he is kind of the one behind it all. I guess he's the one who sent Elrond over that way. Yeah, feeling like there must be more. We'll end up getting that scene where they're all sat at the long table that we've had in some. I can't think if it's in trailers or just posters or images. It will be interesting because you do feel that Durin does respect his friend and believes Elrond is probably being sincere, but he doesn't necessarily believe the people who have told Elrond things are being sincere to him.
Sorry, we have another super chat here from this one is from Mighty Mulatto. Thank you very much for the super chat. You're the best. Is Halbrand staying on the island? No, I believe not. We see in trailers that he goes to war.
Yes, so he's bound to go with them. I mean, they're basically going to save his people at this, as is labeled as this point. Yeah. So it wouldn't make sense for him to be the one not to go. Obviously, disregarding any trailer footage we've already seen, it wouldn't make sense for him not to go.
Yeah, there was the episode 5 preview, which we got to see at the end.
Yes.
There was a shot of Halbrand in that. He says something on the lines of, "Why would I go back there? You know, it's the place that I left. Why would I go back?" Which maybe be like, maybe he's not Sauron. I hope he's not Sauron. I don't know. They're so back and forth with what they're trying to tell us. So who knows?
So just to jump back for a moment, because this was a thought I had as well. I thought King Durin was dead for a second when Prince Durin walked in.
So did I.
Yeah, I had that moment of it's like he's taken on his role as the proper Durin. So the first Durin's dead. They were going to try and explain it that way, but they didn't. He just was being really quiet.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Mighty Mulatto again. Thanks for the super chat.
Yes, thank you very much.
So what happened after this? Okay, we go back now to the Southlands.
Yes,
back to the Watchtower. Now, we get to see at this point now what it was that Adar was telling Arondir. He basically reveals that he has basically said we all have to join him, or we're going to die. Not the most amazing message ever. It's pretty simple. Join me or die. Don't know why they kept it like a reveal at the end of the episode, but whatever.
Yep.
And then we cut back to Theo, who is chatting to the old man from the tavern. And it becomes apparent at this point that there is still a presence of Morgoth worship.
Yes. So basically, the elves were right all along.
Yes. He says he in some way has used the weapon as well by the looks of it.
Yes, he has. He's marked himself with it.
Yes.
So, yes.
But he says it's not a weapon, it's a power.
Yes.
Which I find interesting. There's also, and I'm not quite sure if I misheard this or got this wrong, but he explains that it was forged by his very master or something. So
yeah, we kind of both.
You assumed that meant it was forged by Sauron.
Yeah,
I thought it meant Sauron's master.
Yeah,
he could be saying by Adar's master, so it could very well be forged by Sauron.
Yeah,
and again, something we theorized after watching the first episode was this sword could be an early test of Sauron's to try and pour some of himself into an inanimate object, which it kind of feels like that's what he's doing. He says it's not a weapon, it's a power. Kind of like the rings. They are rings of power. So maybe we've written this story after episode 1, because so far we've hit the nail on the head with most things.
Yeah, true. Yeah. This is one of these bits. Yeah. I need to rewatch this bit of the scene to.
So Matt said here, could it have been Sauron trying to learn how to transfer his power? That's exactly what we've theorized since episode 1, Matt. I think certainly a good theory. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to go with this blade. I like the idea of this blade.
Yeah.
And yeah. I feel like I can't judge it just yet. But Theo's involved with it, so I don't like it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The other thing that we get from this sequence is the old man says to Theo, didn't you see it?
Yes.
The fallen star. And he basically says that the fallen star means Sauron's return is close. So are they once again telling us that Meteor Man is Sauron?
Yes.
That's what they're hinting at. It feels like and again, maybe giving them too much credit, do they know that we would be theorizing that Halbrand could be Sauron, that the Meteor Man could be Sauron, that Adar could be Sauron? They want us thinking all these things.
Yes, that is very true.
I hope they're making us think these things so that when they reveal Sauron, we're like, whoa, didn't see that coming. That's amazing.
Arondir is Sauron. Heard it here first.
You never know. You never know. No rings in season 1 in a show called Rings of Power. Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
No, I mean,
we barely see Sauron in movies called Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's a 5-season show. So if we see the rings be forged in season 5, it doesn't really matter. It's building up to that story.
And a lot of the main point of one of the storylines is the building of forges that are going to create them. So the idea of the Rings of Power are already being implanted. So
yeah.
Bronwyn is Sauron. Yes, Ben. Yes.
Galadriel is Sauron. I would prefer Galadriel to be Sauron than to be Galadriel.
Gil-galad is Sauron.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who's not Sauron?
We're all Sauron.
Yeah. Is it just like, in Thor, when everyone who is worthy now empowers the power of Thor? Everyone who is not worthy now empowers the power of Sauron. So everyone is Sauron.
Perhaps that's what we're going with.
You are welcome. I've just solved it. So yes, so basically, where were we again? Southlands. Yeah, okay, here are the hints about Sauron. We basically know that Adar is confirming he wants this hilt for the power.
Maybe another thing we got right.
Which is potentially the whole god idea and him or whatever it is with that. But then we end up back on Numenor one last time.
Yeah, so Galadriel is being put onto the boats. Bye-bye, Galadriel. Elendil is like, looking very concerned.
Yeah, so carry on.
So at that point, the leaves start falling from the tree. Right?
Yes, the petals start raining down from the sky.
There he is. Concerned Elendil.
Yes.
I do like the actor. I can't lie.
It is a weird one. And it might not seem as jumpy when I watch it back. But it looked like he was kind of looking at the petals, like, yeah. And then cuts to Muriel, who he wasn't even looking at. Cuts back to him and suddenly he looks like that, like we show on the screen there. It seemed like a very jump in reaction between a couple of quick shots.
Oh, I didn't get that.
But I may have looked down to make a note or something and missed a shot. So I'll have to need to see that again. But it's one of those. I was a bit like, huh?
This is the problem with making notes, is you do occasionally miss the odd thing. The comment there saying the armor looks so bad, though. I see a lot of comments saying that. I like the armor.
Yeah, I like it.
I even have a note here saying the Numenorian guards look great. I think they look fantastic.
I think scenery-wise, I can't fault anything.
No, I agree. Yeah, so this scene leads to Muriel, the queen, changing her mind, essentially, right?
Yes.
So she decides, oh no, the leaves falling. It's supposed to be the tears of the Valar. They're unhappy.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to take Galadriel's side, and I'm going to go with her to Middle Earth and fight against the Southlanders, or the people invading the Southlanders. Southlands. Oh god. Yeah, and then we have a scene where Elendil is like, who will join in the fight? Valandil volunteers, his mate volunteers, Isildur volunteers, and then everyone volunteers. It feels like perhaps this is the start, or a continuation at least, of the split between the faithful and the King's Men. I don't know if these people exactly will be the faithful, but maybe that's where they're going. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I kind of almost expected at this point, when Farazan started talking, when he was with... Sorry, to just go backwards slightly. When Muriel was saying about, we're going to go fight, and Farazan kind of just repeats what she says in a more rousing way.
Yeah.
I almost expected him to say the opposite then. I almost expect this to be the start of the Ar-Pharazôn side of things of being like, well, what is the Queen doing? Why would you be siding with this elf? No, like stay. We will stay on Numenor, and then that starts to create the divide. But no, he just backed him up completely.
Yeah,
which almost surprised me.
Yeah,
in a way, but maybe not.
So Matthew said, "I like the design in Jackson's films; was so perfect." That's a good point. I agree, but if you think about that logically, that means we can't have better than that. So anything in comparison will be a disappointment.
Okay, if we're on about Numenorian armor, I actually disagree.
Numenorian armor, yeah, this is better than what we saw in the prologue.
I felt like the prologue of Peter Jackson's didn't show the Numenorians to, like, for the War of the Last Alliance to be that great Numenorian and the ancestor of the Numenorians type people. I felt like with Elendil at their lead, they would have been more glorious than what they look like in Peter Jackson.
Yeah. Matthew also says, I hope they don't crap on the Narsil design. I don't think so. I'm pretty convinced that we saw it in this episode when Galadriel goes to speak to Muriel and she sees the Palantir. Yeah. I think we see Anduril then, or Narsil at the time.
Yeah, it's either it's either that was it, or that's the design that a certain type of person had. Like,
I'm pretty sure,
like a title has, if you know what I mean.
They definitely showed
that's
what
I think. Yeah,
and it did look very similar to the one behind us.
Yes.
So yeah, and I liked it. It's basically that in white and gold, which I thought looked great. It does not look like 60 million on an episode on armor. It just looks weird. I don't know. I see that a lot. I'm okay with the armor.
Yeah,
I'm just okay with it. I don't hate it.
No, I guess it's what would you expect?
Hi, John.
That might be a better way to have. What would you, if there's images somewhere of what you would like? I know there might be some artists out there who've done some amazing stuff. But yeah, I'd be curious to know what do you expect? What are you picturing? Because everyone has a different picture in their mind. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The writers of this show and the showrunners and the costume designers will be picturing something different in their head to what we read on the page, because it's an imaginational interpretation. So, yeah, that's that. So that's pretty much the end of the episode, right?
Yeah, basically ends with that they're gonna go to war.
Yeah, I feel like it all changed around pretty quickly.
Slices of kiwi fruit on his shoulders.
It's just the sun.
I like those.
Yeah, I like it as well. But now that you said that, why did you say that?
It's one of those, like, I think I'm less in favor of plain armor. So I like these little things.
Yeah. Although I've got to admit, and I haven't watched it yet, but some of the armor designs from what I've seen from House of the Dragon look fantastic.
Yeah.
But again, we've talked about this before. The difference is George R.R. Martin is still alive and involved with the show.
Yeah, you could basically go, no, doesn't that's not the case.
So House of the Dragon can be as accurate as it needs to be, whereas Tolkien is long gone and this show will always forever be fan fiction. Yeah. Ooh, double knee pop. So we've come to the end of the episode, which means we've come to the end of our initial reaction.
Yes.
So, how do you feel? Underwhelmed?
Disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
I'm angry. I'm angry. Aspects of this.
Which stage of grief are you on?
Aspects of this episode really did make me angry. Like we said earlier, it made it feel like they were telling us that Galadriel is stupid, which made me extremely angry. They're making it very obvious that Halbrand will be Sauron, like him literally advising Farazon and literally even saying the word advising to him. And the Theo stuff, that night sequence, the escape scene, it was just bad. I have no other word for it. Bad and lazy. Again, we have positives. Numenor looks good. The dwarves are fantastic. Durin and Disa are great. The designs of Numenor and Eregion, I just love. It's just what's going on in them that I do not. Yes. We do have some super chats. Thank you very much from Mighty Mulatto again. Comparison of the armor to the elven armor in 5 armies.
Or I know everything was very CG in The Hobbit, but I did love the armor designs in those movies.
I agree.
Even the Iron Hill dwarves, I
Yeah.
liked.
Oh, in terms of like designs in the Hobbit movies, I have no issues with any of them, other than maybe like the goblins.
Yeah, the Great Goblins.
Yeah.
I wasn't keen on, but I understand they were just trying to make something different to what we've seen before, which is always an issue. Is if you try to be different, sometimes you got to go very different, and sometimes it's a mistake.
Yeah. I wasn't angry with the armor that we saw in the prologue of Rings of Power.
No, yes,
that was
true.
okay.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
I still think probably Peter Jackson's designs were better. They're not his designs, but you know what I mean, from his movies.
Yes.
But yeah, I agree. The elven armor from Five Armies is probably better. I say I agree.
Yes.
You just asked for a comparison. There it is. Thank you very much for the super chat. Justin super chat says, "Can only Maya become Balrogs, or was that becoming a god Adar was talking about?" Interesting point. I believe
in
only
Tolkien
Maya...
lore or in Amazon lore.
Yes, only Maya can become Balrogs. So it's a difficult one. We don't like technically what you're saying there. Do we know that? No, he can't be. No, I don't know.
I know it's going to be the claim that you'll get this blade, take the power of Sauron, and turn himself into a big fiery demon. I mean, I'm not going to rule out that they're not going to do that. Not a chance. Don't think it should happen. Wouldn't be correct if it happens, but it may well happen.
Yes, but to answer your question, lore-wise, only Maya can become Balrogs because they are corrupted Maya,
Yes.
which is why they are beings of such power. Thank you very much for the super chat anyway, Justin. Jeffrey says, Isildur's sister isn't as dumb a plot device as you both predicted. At least she may be a useless love interest to the new guy, Kevin, or whatever his name was.
Should we just call him Kevin from now on?
Yeah, he's just Kevin now.
He's just Kevin.
Was it Kemen?
Kemen, I think.
Kemen. But yeah, we'll call him Kev. Yeah, to be honest, and I said this while we were watching it, he just reminds me of... she just reminds me of Hermione.
Yeah.
Emma Watson. Major vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not that I think she is a dumb plot device as such. I just feel like she was an unnecessary one when there was another brother that they still could have used.
I agree.
And we still haven't seen. So, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super chat from Mikey. Thank you very much. Fingers crossed things get better. 5 seasons is a lot of time to put things right. Great stream, guys. First of all, thank you very much. You're right. It was a great stream. We got to talk to you guys. That's always great. And I hope you're right. We've said this before that you can't necessarily judge an entire show on one season. It's a shame when a first season gets off to a poor start. But like someone said to me recently that, what was it? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had a very, very poor first season and ended up being a great show. That could be the case here.
Yes.
Lots of, like, for example, Breaking Bad is considered one of the greatest shows ever. I watched season 1 and went, I'm not going to watch it anymore. It was okay. Then everyone was like, no, keep watching it. It gets really good. And it did get really good. Yeah. That could absolutely happen with this. After one season, you are always still kind of finding your feet. You know what fans like and don't like after a first season. I think it's quite usual that season 1 can be the worst of a...
But the worrying part with a lot of this... So with most of these shows, you get season 1, and then they kind of go from there with the scripts. Well, there's claims Amazon have wrote the scripts for seasons 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Which means the same writing that has gone into this season so far could well be there for 3 seasons at least. Now, yes, they could go back and go, okay, we've made mistakes. Things aren't being taken very well. Let's rewrite stuff. But it's shown that at the moment they are confident enough with what they've put out that 3 seasons of that should be good and well received. I assume, unless Amazon want to make a not well received show.
They with the amount of money they've spent, they especially if they're going 2 years between seasons, if that's true, they will absolutely need to look at the reception of this show, look at what people liked and what they didn't like, and cater to it. They've got to.
You would think.
There's so much money involved. I feel like they can't put out something that they know people aren't enjoying.
You would think.
Yeah.
Like Galadriel, logic does not always play a part.
Yeah. Romulus says, stream has been awesome fun. You guys rock. Thank you so much. You rock as well.
Thank you. I mean, I feel bad that we have been far less positive.
Yeah.
I I have never once come with the intent of talking crap about the show.
No.
Every part of me wants this to be a good show.
Mhm.
I want to enjoy it. I want to have great fun covering it. But this episode has not put this show in the right place.
No. Jeffrey says, heck yeah, this was awesome. I'll come back for your streams every week as long as you keep doing them. Thank you very much. And yes, we will definitely keep doing them. Even when the show's over, we're going to be live streaming every week, but it won't be Rings of Power focused. It will be like lore discussions and stuff. Like, we absolutely love coming live. And this software that we're using now has made going live a lot easier. And I think a lot more, what's the word? Interactable.
Yeah. It definitely makes it a lot easier on our end. So
Yes.
hopefully it comes across to you guys as well. But as for what we're actually going to do for the next few weeks, as for these first 4 weeks, we've basically tried something different every week.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what we're going to be doing next week.
No, but what we're thinking of doing today is, obviously we didn't do a watch party because, I mean, as fun as it is just sitting there silently for an hour. So we watched it ourselves. We did an after party to discuss our immediate thoughts with you guys and interact, which has been fun.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the time is a bit weird for a lot of you, which has led to a lot less people being involved, but we obviously appreciate everyone that's here, and we'd be here if there was 10 of you to talk to. But I think what we'll do is do a full breakdown today.
That's the plan.
Yeah, which will come, which won't be a live video. It will come straight up on the channel as a regular video. Easy Gamer says, I love your regular lore videos. Thank you so much. We've had a few people commenting, especially over the last few days, saying, I feel like Rings of Power has overtaken this channel. I will no longer subscribe to you. I'm only here for lore videos. People feel that way, that's fine. But I just want to point out that we've been doing 2 lore videos a week for years, and we are still doing 2 lore videos a week now. Rings of Power has not changed that. Rings of Power has not replaced our lore videos. These Rings of Power videos are just additional.
Yes.
So, just to confirm.
Yes.
Texas Sci-Fi, I hope this is the weakest episode of the series. Love the videos and the live stream. I hope so too. And thank you very much.
That's my hope, is that, like we kind of mentioned, is the mid-season point is always a hard one to get through for any show. There is that lull where nothing too dramatic can happen because of the point in the show we are. It's still kind of a bit of setup without initial setup is new. So it's that where this is kind of that pushing things along to get to a finale. So yeah, I'm hoping.
One good thing I'll say though, I mean, there's a comment here from Jack. I really want the show to be good. Hope next week is better. Maybe a Durian, Disa, and a Rondia exclusive episode. Yeah, that would be great. One thing that we didn't get was Harfoots.
See, I'm still okay with the Harfoots. I'm not.
I just get a bit bored.
I would much rather Harfoots than Galadriel.
Yeah.
However, I will agree with
that.
I still want to see Elendil and Numenor, just somehow without Galadriel.
Going back to Dustin, he said they still watch your vids though. You'd be surprised. People have actually blocked our channel, just because we have talked about Rings of Power, even though we've been fairly negative towards a lot of it. It's crazy.
We've just been honest.
Yeah, we've been honest.
We've just given our opinions and whatever it is. It's like, I mean,
and even though we're being honest and giving our opinions, apparently we're still shills.
Yeah, I mean, we can openly say it's no lie at all. There's nothing to hide. We have never once been paid by Amazon for any opinions.
Sadly.
Amazon have never given us any like threats or proposals or ultimatums. They've never had anything to do with any content that has gone out on the channel.
At the end of the day, we're just a big middle-aged channel. So we got invited to the premiere. That's all that's happened.
We were just always going to hope that this show was going to be great beforehand. So, yeah.
Mikey said the Tabletop Alliance should do a Southland Orcs versus Southland Manfolk battle report. I love it.
Southland Orcs hit on 6s for shooting there.
Yeah, definitely. Also, if you guys are into the Tabletop Alliance or into Middle-earth strategy battle game or tabletop gaming in general, definitely go to our website, thetabletopalliance.co.uk. We've just released an awesome new proxy which fits in so good for Middle-earth strategy battle game. It's available now on the website in digital and will be available later today in physical. It works really well. It's called The Dark Lord. Go and check it out. We have a super chat from Mighty Mulatto again. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Galadriel is hit or miss. Can't be raging moment. Oh God, I can't speak. Can't be raging one moment, being cooled down by Halbrand, and then give sage advice to the Queen. Yeah, she's like this as a character.
no consistency.
No.
So,
Apart from the fact that she's stupid. Connor, thanks for super chatting. Connor says, you guys are awesome. I first found you over your discussion on Morgoth. I wish we got to seek him in the show, but oh well. See him in the show? We saw his shadow in the prologue.
That's not enough. Morgoth deserves everything.
Yeah.
I will bow down to Morgoth.
Not everyone likes your honesty, I guess, guys. No.
Well, it's always the thing with the internet is people can't
agree.
People just can't believe that you are honest.
Yeah.
Like, that's just it. People will always think there's a hidden agenda somewhere. And all we can do is be honest with you guys. And you just kind of, I guess, is take our word for it. I don't know how we can prove we're being honest because there's nothing to prove the other way either. There's nothing to show that we've shilled. There's nothing to show.
Well, I feel like it's clear we're being honest. We've said good things and we've said bad things.
Yeah, 100%. But some people, that's not enough somehow.
Yeah. Apparently, if we don't hate every aspect of this show, then we're celebs. Crazy world we live in, guys. Absolutely crazy world. This is like, I gotta be honest, a lot of streams we get a lot of comments hating us for being sellouts and shills. You guys have been great today. Everyone that's here has been awesome.
Yeah, those people don't want to get up this early. They'll come later. They'll come in the comment section afterwards.
Yeah. Let's give it 1 more minute or 2 more minutes to answer some questions, guys, and then it's breakfast time.
Okay, we'll just quickly address this. A shill is someone who is overly positive for favors, right? You guys have been fairly critical, which therefore makes you not a shill. Pretty much. A shill is basically someone who's been paid to say nice things. We have not been paid at all. We have not been asked to say nice things. We have just covered the show as we are a Tolkien channel, and it is, in maybe the loosest terms, a Tolkien-based show. That's as far as it's ever got. Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're not, someone there has mentioned nerdrotic. We're not nerdrotic. We're not trying to make a living on just talking crap about stuff.
We're not going to put half blinking Galadriel thumbnails just to try and get some clicks.
No. We're just saying our opinions, and that's all we can do. We're not being positive to be in favor with Amazon. We're not being negative to get those rant views, because rants get views. We're just giving our opinion on our Tolkien channel.
Which, to be fair, in terms of views, probably is the worst thing we could do. But that just wouldn't be us if we didn't. So,
yeah. Jack says, thanks again for the stream, guys. Make sure you get some proper sleep. We don't get to sleep. YouTubers don't sleep. We've got a full day we're literally in the office now, and now we've got a full day of doing a breakdown video and lots of other stuff. Okay, so there's a question here. Who is each of our favorite characters so far? Let's talk positive.
Oh, I'm torn. Three come to my head automatically.
Okay. Can I guess them?
Go on then.
Durin?
Yep.
Disa?
No.
Ooh. Arondir?
Yes.
Elrond?
Yes. Okay. That's the debatable one. Because I know he's not quite the Elrond of Elrond. He is a slightly changed Elrond. But I do like him. Disa is obviously up there. I just feel like as she's more side character, less focused, she's not quite up there yet. And the Elrond Durin relationship, I absolutely love. Oh, I love Elendil as well. That's I don't know.
It is tough.
But Arondir has been absolutely solid for me as well. So I can't pick off the top of my head.
Durin for me.
Okay.
My comment here. I know you're not shills, considering the Tolkien estate tried to sue and cancel you to the point where you had to change your name and lose all the merchandise with the old name on it. Yeah, those of you who don't know, we used to be called History of Middle Earth, and then we were History of the Ages, and now we're the Broken Sword.
Yes.
It's been a crazy ride. What do you know? What can you do? Connor, super chat. Thank you so much. You don't think they're going to make Sauron sympathetic in this show? I mean, he's famous for a reason, and it's for being misunderstood.
I mean, I do think they will try and make him sympathetic.
Yes, they absolutely will.
They will 100% us. They will 100% want us to like him.
Yeah.
To then turn him into that evil character.
He's a legendary deceiver. So, in order to convince the audience that he is able to deceive people in such a way, then they have to also convince us of his intentions. Does that make sense? If they can fool us, then Sauron can fool characters.
So does that mean then, if we have actually realized who Sauron is, we are smarter than the brightest, like Galadriel?
Yeah, clearly. It's not hard though. I've been watching you guys for a few years. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Actually, I recognize your logo. Have you been in like live streams for years? I don't know, but it just seems familiar. So I'm going to highlight this comment too. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Is Gil-galad just chilling right now? Yeah.
I
mean, the war's over in his books.
He's an elf. He's blinked twice. Like
Yeah.
that's all he's done in that time. He sung some songs, had some food, drunk some wine. That's not much else for an elf to do, really.
Yeah. Bro, I remember History of the Ages. Yeah, so do we. History of the Ages was on 330,000 subscribers when we started this channel.
Yes.
It's been a tough ride, guys. Although doing these weekly live streams makes up for it. I do love chatting with Tolkien fans. Epic Kingdom, you just showed up. Well, we're almost on our way out. We've got like... Oh. Well, Super Chat, we're definitely going to stay for Super Chats. What part of Beleriand was Adar referencing? Did he betray the elves in the First Age? Huh. No. I don't know. He just said Beleriand, didn't he?
I think so.
It's awkward because he said that, and I looked down to write a note. Arondir is from Beleriand.
In our full breakdown, we will definitely like address that in full. Off the top of my head, now nearly 2 hours after finishing the episode, cannot think off the top of my head. I wonder if if he was actually betrayed. I imagine it's kind of he was left to die and then taken in, or maybe corrupted. I don't know. He's a very interesting character. I'm really interested to see a lot more of Adar, to be fair.
Thanks again for another super chat. The Brothers Kryn says, how's the Black Sword storyline coming along? It's all right. I mean, it turns out that is what the Orcs were looking for.
Yeah.
And it was forged by, it seems, by Sauron. Maybe Morgoth. We're not quite clear on that. I think Sauron. But yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys? Let's go. 30 seconds. 30 seconds to get your questions in. We'll answer the ones that come in quickest. Go, 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 go. And then it's toilet and breakfast time.
Yeah, no, this is the funny thing about when we named our channel The Broken Sword, is I've not actually read The Broken Sword as a story itself.
I didn't know it was a book. I knew it was a video game.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because when we were hanging out with Morphy Clark, we were talking to her. She plays Galadriel, by the way. We were chilling with her. Lovely girl, by the way. And we were mentioned, oh, yeah, we got a channel called The Broken Sword. And she was like, oh, my God, I love The Broken Sword. And we were like, no way, you watch us. And she was like, oh, no, I'm thinking of the video game. That's quite a funny story. If you don't know, she lives like 20 minutes away from us, which is pretty cool. Or did.
Yeah, she's probably living a higher life right now.
Yeah. Worst character, Galadriel. Just because of what they're doing with her.
Galadriel, but I'm actually putting Theo at a close second. I feel harsh. I just really don't like that kid.
Yeah. A few people just saying good night now.
Okay.
You guys, I guess a lot of you have stayed up late for this, right?
Yeah. Okay, go on. Mikey's underneath. Yeah. What adaptation of Tolkien would you really like to see made into a movie/series?
Tough question, man. I want to see. Well, we got a glimpse of it in the prologue. I want to see some dragons. I want the epic, like the battle of unnumbered tears. Just this, all these epic battles that Tolkien wrote about. You know.
Yeah, I'm really trying to think. I'd love to see a maybe more realistic one, because that'll be a very tough one for anyone. I would love to see the wars with Angmar.
Yes.
In a series.
That would be great.
I mean, movies would still work, I guess. But these days, I feel like I'm more of a series guy, because you get so much more time with the people. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see The Lord of the Rings adapted into a series. And we get like multiple episodes covering the stories, and we get to see the Tom Bombadil parts, the Scouring of the Shire parts, or things like that. Like
at some point, it'd probably be in like 50 years, but at some point, the Lord of the Rings itself will get a reboot. That will happen.
It'll have to, once all this is done.
Yeah. But I would prefer to see it as a series than a movie. We had pretty much a trilogy of the longest movies we could possibly get, and they still cut out so much.
Yes.
Like big percentages.
And they were just so perfect. I think it's a hard one to You wouldn't want to be competing with that. You wouldn't want to be the guy who tries to make a thing better than that of the same thing.
Yeah. Favorite Tolkien book? Lord of the Rings.
Ooh.
Counts as one, right?
I can count Fellowship of the Ring then.
I'm going to Return of the King. Okay. We've been on for an hour and 45 exactly. It's 20 to 10 a.m. I think it's breakfast time. We've been here since 6. So, time to go.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been, as always, we never have a bad time streaming with you guys.
Just as a bonus one, anything with Tom Bombadil, when are we getting our Tom Bombadil the musical?
Yeah, to be honest, I think that's the only way I'd probably accept Tom Bombadil is if it was a musical, because most of his, not scenes, sections in the book, I guess.
I mean, I believe Tom Bombadil is not supposed to be particularly tall. So if I carry on with my current diet,
no, I want Jack Black, because dude can sing.
That would be funny. Although a Jack Black style Tom Bombadil was slightly going against the kind of songs.
Last comment.
Oh.
1 hour, half an episode next week, or 1 hour slow motion Galadriel. Oh God! Please don't put me through that. Either of them. Fortunately, we saw the preview for episode 5. Half-Orcs are in it, but so are some of the good stuff. So, yeah. Right, guys. I can see a load of you tuning out already. So let's get out of here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Those of you that super chatted, it means the world to us. Those of you that have just interacted, you are the best. If you have watched, you are also the best. Have a great day. Make sure you return later to check out our full breakdown for full details and stuff that we may have missed. It's going to be a fun day working on it, I think. Or painful. I don't know. We'll see. Guys, thanks again. See you next time.
Bye, guys.